Why do you always do that? It spoils the champagne.
It might explode.
Never does.
Would you guarantee that?
That isn't funny, Frederick.
Make a good headline. Playboy kills wife with champagne cork.
Welcome back. Yes, another house visit. And this one, we are going back in time. Not Michael J. Fox back in time. Way, way back in time. As we are going to visit a nice little house on a haunted hill. And once again, my co-host Radar, who loves the films from the past, chose this one. So how's it going, buddy? Everything good?
Oh, everything's great. When we get to talk about a Vincent Price movie, those are just the best times. Any Vincent Price movie, I'm happy to talk about.
All right, I gotta say this because I think I texted you when I was rewatching this. Is Vincent Price is one smooth motherfucker.
Oh man, he is so smooth. I saw your text and went, oh yeah, absolutely.
This guy can have a conversation, convince you to do things you don't want to do. Get your minds out the gutter. I'm not saying that direction. I'm just saying that if there was somebody able to convince you to do something, stay in a haunted house, that would be the guy to definitely convince me by just a simple conversation. But I got to tell you, he is such a phenomenal actor. Going back and seeing these movies, I mean, could you imagine if if he was very young when these movies, well, no, if he wasn't even alive yet when these movies were done.
Right.
And fast forward to the movies now, oh my God, this guy would be, he's an icon now, but imagine in this era of horror.
Oh man, he would have a heyday. And plus, like, he's already a legend, but he would just be like the peak of everything. Oh my gosh, because the quality of movies too he was doing back then was not horror's heyday. Yeah. Let's be frank. And he hit it just in that, like, he was old enough too, like with this movie, I think he was in his mid-40s.
Yeah.
So he was already getting up there in age. So by the time like the 80s rolled around, he was, retirement age. So he just didn't have like the opportunity to really go all ham in. And that would have been so great to see.
That would have been amazing. I mean, yeah. And like, if you don't know the synopsis of this film, is you have a millionaire who decides he's going to pay people to stay in a haunted house. And this haunted house has a very dark past. But yeah, before we dive deep into this film, I have to ask you now, whether it's Vincent Price asking you or just a random stranger, how much would it actually take for you to stay in a haunted house?
Well, you got to factor in inflation here because this movie came out in '59. So, and they're offering everyone $10,000. I would say 100,000. But if Vincent Price was asking me, I'd probably do it for free because that would be wild. If Vincent Price was going to stay in the house with me, yeah, I'm doing it for free. What about you?
Listen, if it's Vincent Price asking me, just give me dinner, some nice dessert. I mean, nothing's gonna happen between us. I'm just saying, make me feel like, hey, here's a nice meal. We're just gonna hang out, shoot the shit, have fun, and man, imagine having a conversation with that guy.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. It would be on my bucket list if he was still alive, honestly.
So yeah, this film, has some good, interesting. There's actually a good plot storyline in this film. I mean, I do think everything else takes some of a backseat to this plot, but you have Frederick, who is there with his wife Annabelle, who's saying this party is just for you, and there is this very loving relationship they have, where they see eye to eye on certain things, and they have these ulterior motives exactly what they would do to the other. Now, what did you think about this relationship between Frederick and Annabelle?
I think again, Vincent Price is just fantastic. So he absolutely, of course, nails this. But the person who plays Anna, she also does a fantastic job of just like making it feel like this couple has legitimately been together for a couple of years and they just absolutely cannot stand each other. And the back and forth in the dialogue is surprisingly good, especially for the time, and the fact that look, this they did not put that much effort into this movie.
No, no, they did not.
But it's just incredible that they made the dialogue between at least them that witty, you know. And there's the scene like about halfway through the movie where Vincent Price goes to Anna and he's like convincing her to come down for the party, and he's like grabbing her hair and kind of yanking her back a bit, and it's the perfect like give and take dynamic going on there.
I agree because Vincent Price, he's so phenomenal with everything he does. And he's such a presence. And I do think that when they casted the Annabelle character, what a perfect person. I mean, Carol Omar was amazing. She was a good counter to him because every time he was done with his line and she gave her line, it was so well done. Like when she goes, he goes, "Oh yeah, remember the last time you poisoned me?" I mean, it was just like a random. Remember, she was, yeah, and yeah, remember they couldn't find exactly what it was. I mean, what you're sitting there like, holy shit! And the fact that he's like, "Oh, if I gave you $1 million to just disappear and leave me alone, would you take it?" "Oh, that's right. No, you want everything, don't you?" I mean, that whole dynamic was
dynamic.
It was so well done. She was beautiful. I mean, she was stunning.
Yeah, not even just for the time. Like, yeah, she in today's modern age, she'd still be gorgeous. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I paused for like, wow, she's. I told the guys. I think so. You guys didn't say, wow, she's hot.
It's man, they did a great job of casting too, with like even like the rest of the cast, pretty damn spot on. God, what is his name? The Watson Pritchard, the guy who plays Watson Pritchard, Elijah Cook Jr.
Yeah,
it's so funny because with a few of the cast, they still talk in that sort of style that was there in the 50s, early 60s. And it's a really dated talking style, but it's like Elijah Cook just completely sounds like he absolutely legitimately believes in ghosts, and he just babbles like a complete psychopath the whole film.
It's funny. I mean, well, he kind of caught your attention when the beginning of the movie you got the screaming and you got the floating head. You got him, Tony Stark was like, oh man, this guy's gonna play a character. Yeah, his character, I mean, the fact that when they get there, he's like right next to the I think it was like a sofa, pushes the armrest to the side, takes out a knife. Like, how did this guy know there was a knife in there?
Right.
I mean, he tells you a backstory. He was familiar with the house, I think some relatives of him, died in the house.
Yeah, I think so. I can't quite remember the backstory on it, but yeah, he's just obsessed with this house, and like it's so funny to hear him like be the off their rocker person who's just totally into it, and everyone else is like somewhat calm for a good chunk of the movie, but he just starts out at an 11.
Yeah, because you had his character, Watson Pritchard, who was basically he was very optimistic they weren't going to survive.
Yeah.
Then you had, Dr. Trent, which he was another part of this plot line that was in this film. And then you had, Lance Schroeder, who was, his character was okay. He was just typical, oh, look, I'm the hero in this whole thing.
Right.
And then you had, this woman has some vocal cords. Nora. I mean,
oh my gosh.
Her character, I'll be honest, I hated her character.
Yes.
The yelling was so over the top, and
Oh
you're
man.
like, and at a certain point in the film, like she's literally yelling from the basement to up the stairs, goes into another room. She's yelling in the hallway. I'm like, why does nobody hear her? I mean,
why is no one checking on this woman?
I mean, like, I know you talked about Pritchard. What did you think about the other characters as far as individuals? Like, which one did you like? Which one did you hate? Which one did you want to know a little bit more about?
Yeah, I feel like because Vincent, because Frederick, Vincent Price, and Anna are such like good characters, I feel like a lot of the other ones took a back seat, which I'm kind of fine with, but it's also a little weird because there's like 8 other characters. And I think that like Nora, you'll probably agree, Nora's the worst. She is the worst character. And I mean, it's just because 50% of her screen time is her screaming her lungs out. And it's like, and it goes on for so long too. When she starts screaming, it's always like at least 10 seconds of just her screaming. And it's like, run, do something else. But I I think the funniest 2 characters, and you might agree, are the caretakers, because they show up for like 2 minutes and then they're just out of there.
Yeah, and the whole time she's blind. I didn't know she was blind. I thought she was just scary as shit.
Yeah, she is just scary as hell. And it's so
facial expression.
She's got her little when Nora stands up and she's like right next to her, she's just and then just I guess floats on by her. I'm like,
that scene. Like, I'll be honest, I rewinded it a couple of times because I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, yes, I know it's the time. I know it's 1959. They don't have the same effects we do, but the fact that she's frozen, all of a sudden her hands are like that, and they just wheel her out.
Yeah, it's clearly.
Just, I mean, yeah, but what did you think of all right. You want to talk about this Dr. Trent character and his tie with Annabelle?
Yeah, so I feel like it was a good move because Dr. Trent just seems like he's just a background character for most of the movie. And I think that perfectly sets up like the nice twist that comes later on. And I mean, it's because again, he's one of those characters that just fades in. I can't even remember the older woman, her character's name. I can't even remember it.
No, I don't. I forgot.
Yeah. So that's how much some of these characters fade into the background. But like her and Dr. Trent, like they just seem like they were there to be background characters, and it's such a great like pull off to have him have such a crucial part in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm curious what were your thoughts on him and like the sort of kind of dynamic between him, Anna, and then Frederick?
I mean it's because he was there because he wanted to basically say that there's a hysteria when people go into haunted houses. Right. But he was there as your debunker. You know, he didn't believe in any of his stuff. You know, and they played it well because you didn't see it coming at all.
No.
You know, it took her to hang herself, which I'll be honest, I'm still wondering how they pulled that whole thing off. Because it was just where she hung herself, where it was tied to the banister. I'm like, it's just didn't make
it doesn't make any it's not making sense.
And then the calm of how they take her down.
That part was also legitimately funny. How they're just like, well, help me take her down.
They're just standing there looking at her. And here she is. Just, but I liked it, that twist, because I'm sorry, like, I mean, Frederick comes out like an a-hole. Like, you're a typical rich snob. You know, and the fact that he had 2 wives that died prior from, what was it, heart attacks?
Yeah, heart attacks in quotation marks.
Yeah. Did he have, you know, him, like, she knows that, you know, he's up to something. But the fact that, you know, she fakes her, spoiler alert, she fakes her death. And we find out that her and the doctor have been, you know, getting really intimate. They know each other prior to, you know, being here, which was and once again, it's your typical doctor. Your typical, oh, look at me, I'm on a pedestal of my own. Like I have anybody I want. I mean, granted, he picked the right woman. But the thing that kind of messed me up a little bit, I got to ask you about this is, did you feel like Frederick's, his goal was basically to kill her off?
Yeah.
But at any point, did you feel like his intent was Nora to all the screaming? But like he was looking to replace Annabelle with Nora?
Ooh, I didn't think about it like that. Because for me it seemed like he just wanted out of a bad situation for him. I didn't even think about him like moving on to the next person, but that potentially could be it. You know, you might be onto something there. He's a skeezy enough character.
He is, because it just seemed like, I mean, even his reaction to when Nora shot him.
Yeah.
No, and then she like shoots him.
No, don't.
And she goes screaming. But yeah, I like that whole dynamic. I liked the fact that you had these plots going on between these three characters, and the fact that you take a character like a Dr. Trent, who's, I mean, you felt like he was just there, but then he's really one of the masterminds behind, to kill off Frederick because he wants to be with Annabelle. I mean, I'll be honest, man. If she came up to me and she, this is 1959. She said, "Listen, you could be rich if you just help me do something." And oh, by the way, there just happens to be this big vat of acid in the basement.
Yeah, this big vat of acid in the basement
that for some reason has been there this whole time. And yeah, nobody's gotten rid of it. And and Pritchard knew about it because he had this. Oh, I mean, the whole thing. Yes, it takes everything except for the bones. But yeah, I mean, no, okay, what were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask, what did you think of the ending?
It was funny to me because there's one. All right, so what happens is, Dr. Trent sets up for Nora to shoot Frederick and basically kill him, and this way they could get him and Annabelle could just it's their safe way out basically without having them do anything, which is still flawed because the fact that everybody saw her kill herself.
Yeah, little flawed still, but
yeah, a little flawed. But like, they go into the basement. He tries to throw Frederick into the vat, and then he ends up going out. The lights go off. And then when Annabelle goes down, like a skeleton comes out. And basically, it was just so funny. And then to top it off, like when Annabelle's backing up to the vat, she almost fell. You saw? Did you catch that? She did this real quick.
She did a little oops and caught herself.
Caught herself and then positioned herself a little bit closer. I mean, it was funny because he got away with it.
Yeah.
And then to top it off was when he comes out with the whole contraption.
Oh man, that ridiculous contraption.
I'm looking at that. I was like, yeah, how did the wire just not cross? And
it's so funny too. It looks so dorky. And if you notice, there's like just two cranks on it. But like the skeleton did a lot more movement than that, so it's like, what was he doing?
And then you kind of wonder where the fuck were the strings at. Like, but then this was an all-time classic. Vincent Price was when everybody comes down to the basement, and Nora's like, oh, "I thought no, you didn't shoot me. Your guns all have blanks." And then he gives the whole happened. Dr. Trent and Annabelle tried to kill me. And they both died. They both fell in the vat. I'm ready for justice to basically judge me. I'm like, and he just walks away. He walks out the room. That was such a classic. For me, I think that was a perfect ending. That's like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
I read them too.
All right.
I just gonna walk out. But I mean, what did you think about the ending? The way
oh my gosh. I think the best part, I think this is so perfect for like, why people love it so much today is because it's aged pretty poorly in parts, and that ending skeleton is just the perfect amount of like funny spooky, because you can see the strings on it, like the little separator things to like keep its thumb and finger from touching are clearly visible as it's coming out. But I think the highlight for me of it is when Anne's trying to like leave and the skeleton like puts a hand on her shoulder and she's like, oh. it's like such a little iconic, just like tiny moment. And it's this movie is just kind of full of those little iconic moments of like that skeleton bit, the hand on the shoulder.
Yeah. And
then at the beginning of the movie with Vincent Price's head coming up, like in that shot of the house, and the line of there'll be food and drink and ghosts and maybe a few murders, that got turned into like a TikTok sound. It went viral like last year. So it's just the perfect amount of just like poorly aged stuff in this movie to make it a classic.
The one scene I don't know what it is, but Nora's facial expressions when anything happened to her, like when she walks in the room and there's a decapitated head in the box, and she's just there. I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, hold on, what the hell's wrong with you? Just say something, scream, and she's making all these faces and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god. And then I'm thinking the whole time, I was like, all right, so Frederick thought he might have want her, but being how she reacts to everything, he's like, nah, I don't want her either.
I'll let justice decide my fate. That's why I said that.
Oh my god. But yeah, like I do, it did not age well.
No.
I know there's a remake that we're going to talk about in the future episode, but I feel like, that remake is fine, but I think with a character like a Vincent Price,
yeah,
you need somebody like that to pull this off, because I think this deserves another remake and kind of go a little far, because the backstory, we got some of the backstory, but it wasn't like very intricate backstories. Basically, you had a preacher telling us everything that happened in the house,
right?
And all these decapitated heads, and they didn't find none of the heads. It's just a classic line. And two, the other thing is, now it's a haunted house, right? So what does Frederick do for everybody to defend themselves? Gives them guns.
I love that.
And now one single person bother checking the clips.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's even Pritchard's like, those won't work against the dead.
Like,
pretty funny.
Like when Nora disappeared, you're not gonna find her. She's one of them. We're all gonna be one of them. And then was it that when Vincent went back to, when Frederick went to see Annabelle's body?
Yeah,
Pritchard's in the room.
Yeah, just being a creeper.
And he's choking the hell out of him, and afterwards, you've been drinking. You're drunk. I'm tired of I'm tired of your ghost stuff, and basically kicks him out the room. He just finished choking you, and you go leave the room like nothing happened.
It's so funny, and it's so funny too, because Vincent Price's character Frederick is a total douche.
Yes,
but I absolutely love him because Vincent Price just pulls it off with his charisma.
Well, he was the villain, but then he ended up not being the villain. Basically, he flipped that whole thing around to actually be like almost like the hero in the film,
which is wild too, because it's like this man definitely killed at least 2 of his wives.
Oh, he did now 3 now, but
well, yeah, 3 now.
It was funny because for me that it didn't age well. There's not many scary scenes at all that you'd be like, oh my god, this.
Yeah, no.
It's as practical as you could get as far as the scenes, but the storyline was still for me so good because, Vincent Price once again, such a iconic figure, and Carol Omar did so well. I loved her character. I wanted to see what else she was in. I didn't get a chance, but I'm definitely going to go see what else she was in because she was phenomenal.
She did a good job. I'm not too familiar with her catalog either. And this is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is one of those films that I it's so unfortunate that I wasn't alive at the time to go see it, because I don't know if you know much about William Castle,
No.
but William Castle was the king of horror gimmicks back in the day. So during like screenings of movies, he would do stuff like he would have stuff set up in all the theaters. So there's a movie called The Tingler, where it's like you can be scared to death, and if you hold your fear in too much, you'll get a tingling sensation of your spine, and a monster will burst out of it. So he had the seats at some theaters rigged up to give a little shock of electricity randomly through the movie to scare people. And for House on Haunted Hill at select theaters, he set up a hanging skeleton that would swing down during that final moment. And I'm like, that would be so great to be in a theater and watch that happen.
They gotta do that more. That'd be awesome to do.
That'd be so cool. I wish they would bring it back. But they won't.
I'll be honest, I haven't watched this film in such a long time. And I think this is what I like about our show is we go through different eras and we appreciate these films. And that's why we don't do a rating system here, because we just like talking about these films and going back and revisit them and see if everything worked as far as the thing too is when you looked at the house, it didn't look like a haunted house. It looked like your typical mansion in San Francisco, right?
Like in the mid-century, like it didn't even look old.
No, it didn't. I mean, it probably actually I seen them. I'm wondering if it's still standing though.
Ooh.
I'm curious to check that out if that building is still standing and who lives in it, because a lot of these houses there, especially that foundation where it was sitting at. I mean, I'm sure it's still around. I'll be interested to go look into.
That would be interesting to go check out. And plus, like it's incredible, really. This movie is only 75 minutes long.
Yeah.
It just shows that you do not need 2 hours to tell a good horror story. Because like we've been talking about, the plot is the main selling when Vincent Price, but the plot is one of the main selling points. And they were able to cram so much into 75 minutes of screen time.
But I think that's for being that's Vincent Price. He doesn't do crap movies.
Right.
The movies he's done so far, we've done 2 of them. This one, House of Wax. And even House of Wax, there was a plot there. There was a nice plot there. There was a story there. And his character just carries that whole plot line.
Oh, man. And I wish it had house in the title so we could do it. Vincent Price's movie Theater of Blood is just like absolutely bonkers, because like it is Vincent Price teaming up with a group of homeless people to go around killing critics who panned his Shakespeare plays.
Nice.
That is the premise of the movie. And he does it in like the way characters have died in Shakespeare plays. So it's absolutely bonkers. I wish we could do it on here, but I'm sure there's plenty of Vincent Price movies with the word house in it that we can go.
We're gonna look, because this guy is such an amazing. I think he gets forgotten. That's unfortunate, because he is such a fantastic.
Oh man,
actor.
he's so good.
Yeah, because I would put him. I would put Vincent Price first, and I would say my next favorite horror character, because Tim Curry is just freaking amazing.
Tim Curry's great. That whole, because they were friends. Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, and Peter Cushing are always always hit it whatever movie they're in. They're always great, and those 3 are just like top tier for me too. Yeah. Like them, Tim Curry. It's hard to think of off the top of my head other actors, because those 3 were so prolific and were in so much.
Yeah, because they're story-based characters, and I love story-based characters. If there was an actor now that I would say can carry the mantle as far as story-based horror, would be like James McAvoy, because that was probably the closest thing to that type of character. I mean, got ways to go to be Vincent Price, but I would say I would say right now, as far as horror movie goes, he's probably for me the better choice if you're going to do a story-driven horror movie.
Right. Because he has the acting chops for sure.
Yes, and he can
And
do any role.
Yeah, he does have a lot of charisma. I don't know if it's possible to ever reach Vincent Price's level of charisma, but
No.
he could at least attempt to get close to it.
Yeah, I mean, he's maybe like 2-3 miles away from it, but he's there though, you know, because when you do see a James McAvoy film, especially horror, you're like, all right, I gotta see what this guy does.
Yeah. Let's see what he pulls out. But yeah, this movie is fun. It's so great because I can tell that people liked it at the time it came out, and then everyone went, "Wait, this is crap." And now everyone's like, "Wait, this is crap."
Yeah.
It's a full circle back to loving it.
But I would still say Carol Omar, Vincent Price, they carried this film, and I wish they would have had more films together because I think it would have been so spectacular. But yeah, I mean, this film I enjoyed it. I'll be honest, I enjoyed it. I laughed at it quite often. I muted it a couple times when Nora was screaming because it only takes so much script, yelling. Yeah. And the thing I would say is, if you're gonna watch this film, do not watch it in color. I watched it in color, and it was very hard to watch because the characters wouldn't move, and I don't know if it was the transition. They didn't really do a good job in turning it into color, but it was tough. So if you're gonna watch the movie, watch it in black and white. Watch it as it originally came out because you're gonna appreciate the movie even more. You're not gonna be like, "Oh, this coloring sucks," but
right. Yeah. And I feel like, granted, it still didn't age well, but I feel like a lot of the effects and store stuff and the costumes probably hold up better in black and white. That's why they were filmed in that. So,
yeah. Any closing thoughts on this one?
No, I think we talked this sucker to death because we almost got half of the runtime of the film talking about the movie.
Shows you how much we like the film. Yes, it didn't age well, but it's Vincent Price. Watch the film. You will appreciate it. You will appreciate Carol Omar because she is amazing. I became a fan of hers. I am going to track down some movies she did and see if any of them have the word house in it.
Fingers crossed.
So that's my research homework project. But yeah, thank you for watching. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. We got more coming your way. And we are going to visit the remake of this film to see, even though we said this didn't stand the test of time, we'll see if the remake did as well. And if it didn't, then we'll sure criticize the hell out of it because this was a fun watch. And thank you for bringing this one up. And I don't think I would have watched this film if you didn't bring it up.
Oh man, well, I always got to bring up Vincent Price. So
help us out. If there's any Vincent Price films with house on it, let us know because we want more Vincent Price. But yeah, this is it for this episode. JR, my co-host Radar. And till next time, let us know if you have a house that you want us to investigate. Just make us some dinner and we will stay. That's it. Peace.
I'm Vincent Price, and you're invited to my party in the house on Haunted Hill, where so far the ghosts have murdered only 7 people. So won't you come and make it 8?